cocinando en el laboratorio. Yo vine del lodo, ahora quieren fotos. Y vamos por todo, cocinando en el lab.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the GMRT Experience. We're back in business. I'm excited for this episode. There's gonna be some game here that you guys are gonna really like enjoy, because this guy knows what he's talking about. So welcome, bro. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Brandon Holmes. I've been in the professional door-to-door, direct-to-home space for 20 years. I was one of the first guys to help start a company called Vivint Solar, and was there for almost 12 years. Started my own company called United Energy. Had a transaction a couple years ago, and since then I've been doing some investment in some companies. I sit on the board of a couple companies. We got one called Riva Dental. We do full mouth restorations. We've got JQ Medical. It's a DME insulin pump providing company, service-based. And we've started a new rep experience company for door-to-door sales reps, all like encompassing their whole lives. We're calling that rep. And then I have my mentoring and coaching called the Bprint. So stay busy, stay popping, always on the move, man.
Dude, there's some stuff there I didn't know. That's impressive. Mm-hmm. Thank you for starting out with that, because I like to start out having my guests introduce themselves, because when I put this together, I want to make sure we bring value to the audience, and then people are actually doing something out there. Mm-hmm. You're not about talking about it, you're actually doing it. And that actually leads to one of my first questions, because you and I go to the same gym. And one of the things that I've noticed, especially the people that I've talked to that know you, you kind of coach like people just around you. You're like kind of mentoring them. And I've noticed at the gym, like all the younger guys just kind of go talk to you, and then I'm assuming you're giving them game, because they're just there listening and like nodding their head like, yeah, like, dude, tell me about those conversations.
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah, so, being in an industry specific like door-to-door and sales for 20 years, like I know so much. Like I've just been doing it for so long that it's hard not to want to help when guys have questions, or when they're asking, like, I'm going through this, or what do I do here? In fact, that's what allowed me to start my coaching company, my mentoring company about 10 years ago. Was a good friend of mine named Satem Gali. He now does his own coaching, speaking from stage, huge following, amazing individual, NFL Super Bowl champion. He came to me and asked me if I would teach him how to go do sales and recruit and build teams, and if I could teach him that. And for the first time, I noticed that what I had learned was transferable, and I could teach him something like, hey, if you do 1, 2, 3, you can actually make $1 million. And so I have a skill set that I could take anyone in the world, and I could say, if you do 1, 2, and 3, you can make this much money. And it's an actual equation. I call it money math, and I train guys on how to do money math. And I can take anyone, if you'll give me the time and be teachable, in 3 years I can get you to make $1 million legitimately. Not through some drop shipping or some internet thing or whatever, but from hard work, I can get you to make $250,000, $500,000, and $1 million if you do what I tell you to do. And I've done it for the last 10 years with hundreds of guys, thousands of reps, hundreds of teams, and a couple companies. So I've got a pretty good track record, and most guys in the industry know me because I've been around for so long, and they hear my name. So when they see me, they come up, and I love to give them anything I got, man. It's what keeps me going. I really love it.
Dude, can you talk to me a little bit more about money math? How did you start that out? Like, where do people find it? How does it work? Is it application only? Like, can you give me more details on that?
Yeah. So money math started when I went out for my first summer doing door to door, and the first summer I went out, I was making $30,000 a year at a company called Smog and Go out of California. I'm originally from LA. And I was going to get married, go to school, and like when all was said and done, my expenses were going to be $34,000. And I remember thinking like, how does anybody live? Like, this is impossible. And my friend, Casey Baugh at the time, he came to me and was like, B, check it. If we go sell this, we can make as much money as we want. And for the first time in my life, I had this aha concept about that the marketplace will reward me with dollars for value that I bring. And if I push more value in the marketplace will push me more dollars if it's truly valuable. And for the first time, after being an hourly and a salary and a construction worker, and I had done my own kind of side hustles growing up through college. I had a paper out. So I knew that if I would get up at 4 o'clock, fold 125 papers and throw them by 6 o'clock, that I was going to make $100 a month. Like I just kind of knew that's what it was going to pay me, but I didn't know I could go make more. Like this idea that it could go up and make more money. So when I had that first like aha that I could make commission, like a commission-based job, my brain started to like turn like, okay, so how much are they going to pay us per deal? We're doing Dish Network in 2004. It was $90 an account. So $100. And I'm like, you mean to tell me that if I sell 300 of these things, I can make 30 grand? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what if I sell 340? He's like, 34 grand. I'm like, so my mind also, I'm like, I can make money. I can live.
Yeah.
So I said, well, how long does it take me to do one? And then how long does it take me to do 100? And so I just reverse engineered the idea of people say I have a goal to go make like 100 grand in a year. Well, if you take 100 grand and you reverse engineer that, you're only working like 4 months out of the year. That's not a lot of effort. That's not a lot of value. That's not a lot of work. Wow. But if you say, I'm going to go work every available minute that I have, and I'm going to give it as much value as I have, you could really take home like 5-6 million off of like labor if you did it right. And that's money math. It's reverse engineering time for value, not I have a number and what can I do to hit that number. Most salespeople say, I want to go hit this goal, this number, and then I'm done, and they stop and they quit. But if you say, I'm going to go work my available time,
yeah,
that's called money math. And I teach all my sales guys how to do that. So
wow. So if somebody's listening to this right now, where do they find money math? So and I'm asking for me too.
Yeah. So I have courses that I teach. I've got a group of guys that I train. It's called the General's Tent. And in the General's Tent, I have my video courses that I train about being a good person, mentality, lifestyle, fitness, what I call the SEMS, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social. I teach guys like the mentality. It's $250 a month. You hop on, you get my courses. Money Math's in there. It's a course that I teach you. I whiteboard it. I walk you step by step, like classroom setting. Mm-hmm. And then I also do calls every week on Friday, and that gets you in the General's Tent. We have guys like D-Lo will come teach fitness, or I've got guys that come teach like, we had a guy on there that runs a international coffee company, and he's using solar and steam to press coffee and save in emissions. Like I have great multimillionaires come teach this group, and I call it the General's Tent. Yeah. But the courses are a part of that, and you can get that at my website, bholmes.com, or go to my Instagram, bholmes.life, and in my my link tree, it's all, you can find it all there.
So good. Yeah, actually, D-Lo, he's in my man's mastermind, and we've talked a little bit about you, and he always promotes your stuff. So now that you talked about it, I was kind of intrigued what he was, because he's talked about it, but I still couldn't figure out what it was. But thank you for that, man. That was really good. Like, yeah. I'm intrigued. I'll definitely check it out, because I'm all about that, dude. Like, especially this year, I realized that, you know, I used to think success was just money, like literally. And I think a lot of younger guys, we think about like success is just about money. And I realized that it's a formula. Mm-hmm. If money is just one part of it, you know, it's how you take care of your mind, your body, what you're doing even outside of work. Mm-hmm. I realized that the hard way this year. So this year I gave my life to God. And I realized that the way I was living my personal life, how much it was affecting my business performance. And so far, everybody that's I talked to so far this year, the growth that we have experienced right now this year, like we're doing close to 300 shoes just on the holiday season, and I've told over 150 shoes no to because I physically we can't do more shoes, but that growth has come because that deeper work that I have done in myself, and then it just pours down into the business. So
Congratulations, bro. That's awesome.
thank you, bro. It means a lot. I want to talk to you a little bit about your journey on solar D2D, like kind of how you got started and how did you climb that ladder? You know, because especially some of these companies that you're talking about, they're huge.
Yeah.
So how did that work?
Can I comment on what you said before real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a pretty good story. So, you know, I'd been doing door-to-door and sales, and I was 28 years old, and I remember it was February, and I was sitting in my office at Vivint Solar, and I remember like counting, like going over my taxes for that year, and realizing that I cleared $1 million. I made 1.2 million. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I made $1 million in a year. And I feel like I should have made like 10 million as hard as I had worked. And I felt so empty inside. Like I had felt like I had given my soul to the grind, and the grind like chewed me up and spit me out, and all I had was $1 million. And I know that's like a crazy concept, but I was so wasted and like drained spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, because I just worked, that it was like this moment where I'm like, oh, I made $1 million. Like, well, where's the champagne? Where's the streamers? Like, now I'm a millionaire. Like, where's the girls? And like, where's the celebration? And then I remember being like, well, I don't want a celebration because I feel like I lost this year, right?
Wow.
Well, I thought I should have kept this. So I went back to my roots. I went back to how I started getting into this, which was all personal development. My dad was one of the founding godfathers of telemarketing, sales, coaching on the back end for Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar. So I grew up knowing these guys. Stayed in Tony's house in Hawaii years ago. And so I knew the mentality stuff. And I remember thinking about why I felt so wasted. And I was like, okay, I'm my physical's right. Like I'm in shape, but I've kind of lost touch with God. I stopped like reading good books, listening to my podcasts, which weren't a big thing back then, but I stopped listening to my books, and I stopped journaling, and I stopped taking care of myself emotionally. Like I was just kind of messy. And I remember realizing, okay, I'm going to get my general's tent. The battles are won in the general's tent. This idea of the general's tent, which is first thing in the morning, you get up and you go do the SEMS, which stands for spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social. Now people have it, faith, finance, family, whatever. Like there's a lot of things that are very similar.
Yeah.
So this isn't my like unique concept, but the SEMS is kind of my spin on it. And I said, if I went and got right in all these areas, which I call the doors to success, which is the name of my podcast. These are the 5 doors to success: spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social. I'm going to go commit 30 minutes minimum a day to each of these avenues in my life.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that I will go make more money if I don't even focus on the financial, because all I had focused on was financial. So if I stop worrying about financial, I've got that part down. I know the formula. But if I go become a better person in each of these avenues and really focus on being the very best, I'm not talking about like, I read the Bible. I'm talking about like going to Italy, to Rome, and studying at the Vatican, like doing like doing a Buddhist, going to a Buddhist monastery and doing a Vipassana meditation. I'm talking like pushing myself in all these avenues, right? And I did. And that next year, I ended up making 2.8 million. So I more than doubled.
Wow.
I saved my marriage, which we were on the rocks for the first time in our 20 years of marriage. My kids, I was coaching my son's football for the first time. I had more time that I knew what to do with. And I remember feeling like I was excited to tackle and grow. And I stopped worrying about the financial. I worried about my SEMS, and my financial more than doubled. And me as a person felt like I love life. Like I'm back. And I felt like reinvigorated, rejuvenated. And that's where this idea of my coaching came up. That's what I called the Bprint, the general's tent, and my SEMS. And that's all what I teach in my courses that I do in my general's tent with my group.
Wow, dude. That's really good, man. Like, I feel that. I
Yeah.
feel that. Okay, now I have another question now that you're talking about that. So, for example, like in myself, like I have my own little ritual, like morning routine that I do. There's certain things that I gotta get done every day to help me perform better. But, and I know it helps me when I stop doing certain things. I can pinpoint, okay, there's something going on, whether it's spiritually, in my business, something I'm not doing, something that is just giving me that weird feeling. How do you like keep up with all of those pillars?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously life is gonna get hard, and you're married, you have kids. Like, how does like, okay, no matter what, this is gonna get done?
So I teach all of this in my courses, and I'm super happy to share, but I deep dive into it, right, in these courses, and that's why I put it together. And like I said, it's only $250 a month to be a part of it, and if it doesn't change your life, I'll reimburse your money full, because this is the stuff that changed my life, right? I used to charge like $10,000 a month to do this one-on-one, and now it's $250 a month, and so I wanted everyone to have it, right? So how do I do that? Well, a couple things is, first, I have a law called 100%, 80% of the time, which means that when I do my general's tent and I have these very itemized pillars, first I know what each of them are, and I have categories in each of them. So I have, for physical, I've got 10 things that I can do. Go to the gym, yoga, stretching, eating good, going to bed on time. Like, I know I have 10 items that I can do in each of these things, right? So first I have like options. Second, I create rituals or habits, right? So not only do I know what to do, but now the ritual shows me where and how to do it. So I know what to do. So when I wake up in the morning, I have this big sheepskin rug that I paid a lot of money for, that I give my guys that do my one-on-one mentoring. I give them this massive sheepskin rug that's like 5x3, and I put it right next to my bed. So when I wake up in the morning, I roll off, I hit my knees. That sheepskin rug reminds me, kneel down, get right with the Creator first thing in the morning. So that rug reminds me where to do it. What am I doing? Where am I doing it? And then I know how to do it, right? Because I've practiced. So my whole morning is like rug, my knees, Creator, spiritual. Then I stand up and I sit. I have a recliner that I put next to my bed, where I have my journal and my scriptures, where I sit down, I pull my scriptures out, I get my journal, and I connect emotionally with myself. I'll journal, I'll write down my top 10, my goals, my affirmations. So all of a sudden I have recliner, journal, emotional. So now I've got my spiritual, my emotional, and then I walk into my office. I got my books, my AirPods. I have 3 different sets of AirPods. Life hack: buy multiple pairs of AirPods. Put them in different locations, car, office, kitchen, or wherever it is. Pop them in, sync up, and I crank 52 books a year. Now, I know some people are like, I want 1 book a month or 1 book a year and study it. I've done that for years. The last 3 years, I've been doing 1 book a week. And for me, I've retained more. My aperture, my brain for learning has opened the more information I've put in. And there's not a right or wrong way to do it, but I like more content because it stays fresh with me. Then if I like deep dive, I like doing that. I'm just on my content smashing phase right now. So as I deep dive on or listen to the content and mental with the different AirPods, then I got my mental, and then I hit the gym and I go get my physical done. So all of a sudden I have my SEMS are done, and I spend 30 minutes on each of them, but knowing what to do, where to do it, and then how to do it, and I just do it. Now, the last thing I shared with you was I give 100%, 80% of the time, right? The first 10 years of my life, when I was out hustling, grinding, building teams, I was almost militant with myself, and I finally just kind of snapped that $1 million, this was it, year. I snapped. I realized that I can't keep giving 100% of the time because that is such an unbalanced lifestyle. So I give myself grace. Where there are mornings where I have to take my kids to school and I may not feel well, there are some non-negotiables that I do every morning. I have a trough in my backyard. I ice plunge, and I do my 10 burpees with my 50 push-ups. Like, those are non-negotiables. I do that hard thing every day, no matter what. So I have non-negotiables. But if I have to skip the gym, that's okay, because I'm going to get it 5 out of the 7 days of the week. I'm doing my SEMS, and the other 2 days I give myself grace. And I just know that that's 100%. But while I'm in it, I'm all in it. But if I miss it, that's fine. That's part of my plan. I've baked in missing it. And it's not missing it. It's rejuvenating, restoring, resting. And I've already baked that in. And so most people don't give themselves grace. If you don't do it 100%, they crack. And this is where I get into a debate with Alex Hormozy. On his threads, actually went back and forth on this idea that he's like, morning rituals are horrible. They ruin it because if you focus on the ritual and you miss it, it ruins your life. So just focus on making money. And he has a point. And the point is that if you get so stuck on the ritual and if you miss it, it ruins your day. Like, if I don't do these things, my day is ruined. That is allowing the ritual to run you. The ritual is there for you, not to happen to you.
Wow.
So allow the ritual to be a tool to magnify and enhance your life, not to become a slave to it. And that's where people only will learn that through time and experience and wisdom and learning. This is a tool for me. I'm going to go 80% of the time, 100%. And that is a big win for me. And I give myself grace, and I'm happy, and I'm hitting my goals, and I use it as a tool instead of me being a slave.
Wow, dude. You know what? I'm glad you're here, because the last 2 weeks I've been trying to tweak my routine. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you said, dude, like that part right there, guys, like what he just talked about, is like priceless. Just like right there, like you go do that and it's gonna make sense. Because here's the thing, I've been trying to figure, like, my routine is missing something. So, but I haven't given myself that grace. And you said that, and as you're speaking, it's like, I get it, because you have to give yourself that grace and not allow even like your routine, because it does happen to me sometimes. Like, I got some non-negotiables too, that is every day, a couple things that I know no matter what I'm gonna do that. But there's times that for whatever reason I don't get them done. It's rare, but it happens. And I've allowed my routine be like, take over me, like why, like, and I don't give myself that grace. So what you said was very powerful.
Yeah.
And I don't think people do that a lot.
That's right. Your routine is happening for you, not to you. And that's the same with life. Life is here to happen for you, not to you. And I think I had a buddy share that with me, and it didn't make sense for a long time until I had some really big setbacks, and I realized that, man, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Same thing with the routine or missing, or when you feel down on yourself and we really beat ourselves up. Like, that's why I don't ever like chastise or get after people, because everyone's their biggest critic.
Yeah.
If they're trying. But just realizing that life is here and it's happening for you, not to you. Your routine is here for you, not to you. And yeah, give yourself that grace. But I think that's what's cool. Like I said, man, 20 years of doing this every single day. I don't miss. Like, I've been here. Check my resume. Check me in the streets. Like, people know who I am, because I just don't miss. And that's because I've given myself these hacks, the 100%, 80% of the time. I've learned this through time, and I've stood the test of time. 20 years. Like, that's a long time to be grinding. But I feel like I got more energy. I feel like I'm 20 years old. Like, I feel great. I look great. I'm in shape. I'm hustling. I'm grinding. I'm working. I got new businesses that are popping up that are doing better than I've ever done before. And that is because it's now in my life, I'm like in my like, I'm just deadly right now. Like I can't miss because I've taken all the L's before. I know what not to do, what to do. And so getting around people that have had that experience is so valuable. That's why I started doing my coaching, my mentoring, because I just couldn't help but share it. Like if you saw me and asked me, "You're 40, man, how'd you get your abs?" I'm going to share with you what I've done. Like, because I didn't have abs for like 15 years and it drove me crazy. But I started hanging out with a guy named Wes Watson, and he gave one little hack to me. And I paid Wes almost like 5 figures a month to roll with him and learn from him. And everything was like fine, but I picked up one little thing that was like the only thing I actually like learned. And if I wouldn't have been searching or grinding, I would have missed it. But as that one little thing, and all of a sudden, boom, I shred. Same thing, like we went to Mexico over Thanksgiving, and we got to stay in this house that was absolutely crazy. Like, luckily, I'm with a really blessed family. My brother-in-laws are all like next level dudes, like oil gurus, they investments, they run private equity groups, like great guys. We did an investment with a group that did a tequila company, Casamigos Tequila. We're kind of in that ownership group. And we got to go stay in this house through one of these groups. Now, my point is that we were with a bunch of people there that I shouldn't have been in that group. Like, next level, all of them have private jets. All of them are just I'm not even close to that level. And I'm just listening. And one of them said one thing. So I went and I paid a ton of money to go be in this room. And it was like lighthearted and not a lot of, but I caught that one nugget just from hanging out with these guys that was an answer to a problem I had in this international business that I'm starting that I've been working on for like 6 months. Wow. And it was like a passing comment, like Wes's passing comment. I snagged it and it changed the business forever. And if I hadn't have been with that group, or if you hadn't been with me here and picked up that little grace comment, that's what you're paying for when you get with a mentor. That's what you're looking for. I'm not looking to change my whole regime, or no, you come hang with me and I'll share with you some hacks. And if you've been grinding, you'll pick it up and it'll change your life. And that's what a mentor is, instead of giving you this 1, 2, 3, which I can do, but you're on another level. So guys like you, it's the nugget that you're looking for that I can help with. And that's why I love doing what I do.
Bro, that's really good. And what's interesting, I got one of my coaches right now. He coached with Watson too, and it's very interesting that you said this, because he said something similar to. He paid Wes Watson, whatever amount of money, and he's like, dude, within 1 hour, just talking to him, I picked up what I needed.
Yeah.
He gave me like that one missing piece, and that was it. I didn't need anything else from him.
Right.
That was all. And then same thing, Alex, one of my best friends, he's killing it right now.
Yeah.
And he coached with Wes, and he's doing his blueprint. He shared some of that blueprint with me, and I've been applying it myself. And it's like, that's the importance of having good mentors around.
Right.
Because they're giving you that hack to get you to that next level. And if you're ready, guess what? You're gonna take that with you.
That's right.
That's really good, bro. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I know we're
good.
We're good.
Yeah.
But one of my next questions was the D2D. How do you climb that ladder, especially with these companies that you were working with? Like, they're big companies. How did that work? Like, can you share a little bit behind the scenes how that corporate world works?
Yeah. So luckily, that's a tough question, because I love door to door. And the reason is that I feel like, because I've done a lot of sales jobs, I've done a lot of different jobs, I've worked with a lot of companies now. So looking back, I feel like I have this affinity towards door to door for a couple reasons. One, anyone can do it, right? And I'll tie this together, but anyone can do it. Two, Like, the score is the score. Like, everyone can talk a big game, everyone can talk shit, but when that ball goes up in the air, like, there's a winner and a loser. Mm-hmm. You either practiced or you didn't. You were ready to compete or you weren't. And, like, the score is going to be the score at the end of the game, and it happens to be your bank account. And in door-to-door, there's nothing else that's so do this, get that, and show the score than door-to-door sales. Like, you can see immediately the results you put in the dark of night, the practice, shows up in the bright lights of the ring. You can see who's put in the reps, right? That's why we named this company Rep. Like, you can see who puts the reps in really quickly. And so I just learned to put in the reps on the simple stuff, the basic stuff, the general's tent, my SEMS. And I worked. I hit the doors. I became a student to the game. So, I mean, I'm pretty partial with myself, but I will go toe to toe with any salesperson in any industry at any time, and I'll smoke them. And the reason is that much like a doctor has to go to school for 4 years. Have you ever thought why? Why is a doctor's school 4 to 8 years? Do you know why? Like a surgeon. Why does a brain surgeon have to go to school for 8 years?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess because it's very important what they're doing and they need to know their stuff.
That's right. How do they learn to become a brain surgeon? How did you learn to become a shoe surgeon?
Well, that's good. I was hungry. I wanted to learn, and I did whatever it took to learn.
How many pairs of shoes? Did you have to watch a YouTube video or you have to cut into shoes?
A little bit of both. YouTube and then trial and error.
Trial and error. How many shoes did you have to cut up before you made that one shoe that you're like, okay, I can sell this?
Oh, it was a lot. Probably a lot.
Right. So a brain surgeon, to get brain surgery right, they've got to cut open a lot of brains to practice, right? That's an 8-year process of cutting into cadavers, actually doing the surgery. Because do you want to be the first client of that brain surgeon if he's 1 year out of college?
Yeah.
Like, probably not. I want the guy that's 20 years cutting into brains to be my brain surgeon, right?
Yeah.
So with door-to-door, unlike brain surgeons that get 8 years, like, because they only get so many people to cut open, right? 8 years, there's only I think it's 10 surgeries or something crazy that they don't get a lot of reps. With door-to-door, I can go out and walk outside here and I can go count 1,000 doors that I could just see that are my cadavers. I can go cut into 1,000 brains this week, right now, in my neighborhood, and become a professional doctor or a surgeon of cells. I get to go knock the door, have the customer interact with me, and see how to correct myself. It's like me giving you 1,000 shoes and saying, practice. That's what door. And every door I get that is a yes or a no, like, I'm either making money or I'm learning how to make money. And everyone that's a yes, I'm making anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 on my solar cells. And I got 1,000 just in my backyard. Like, no other profession allows me to get that many reps face to face. Watch the customer respond. Let me say it this way. Watch the customer. No, next door. Let me say it this way. No, next door. Let me say it this way. Yes, that's it. Boom. Like, nothing can give you a sparring situation in sales, in profession, like door-to-door can. Immediate responses, so you can get really good. I mean, 20 years. I've knocked in 32 states. I've had I counted, it was crazy. It was something like 250,000 doors, like conversations I've had. Like, there's no one else. There's no car salesman. There's no real estate agent who's had more face-to-face interactions than I have. You just can't beat me. And I'm still putting in my reps. Like, the car salesman has to sit at that car shop and he'll get maybe 1-3 people a day. I get 1-3 people in 10 minutes. You can't catch up to me with my experience at this point in the game. I'm 20 years ahead of you. I don't care what you sell, but you can't catch me on my reps. I'm just that much better than you, only because I've been doing it and I put in the work in the dark of night. So when I get in the ring, I'm closing my people. And that's why I love door-to-door. So my point in all that, to answer your question, is I just did the reps at night and I knocked my way into the corner office.
Wow.
become the CEO, became the VP of talent acquisition, became the VP or the director of sales. And as I worked my way up, I ended up becoming the CEO of a company that was doing over 200 million in sales revenue volume in a year. And that's the beauty of door to door. You can literally become, I'm a college dropout, and now I'm a CEO of a $100 million company. And all I did was work hard. The heavy stick, the big bat I get to swing is hard work. And anyone can pick up that bat. You just got to go put in the reps when no one's looking.
Wow, dude, man, you're just dropping bombs in here. And I love it, man. I love it because I know I get a lot of like DMs and like people talking about the podcast, like random people, and a lot of them are younger guys. Mm-hmm. You know, they're younger guys. They're interested in what I'm doing, and they see what the company's doing, and I lead them to the podcast. I'm like, hey, bro, the blueprint. It's over here on the podcast. I'm bringing some of my friends, some of my clients, people that I'm learning this game, because this game that you're giving me right now, yeah, it goes to my audience, but guess what? I'm re-listening to this stuff, and I apply it in my world. That's how I slowly been able to scale the business, go from just me, then Ozzy, then I got Sierra, I got my editor, I got other people now, because I get to learn from people like you, because it's powerful, like knowledge, and if you apply it, dude, it can take you to big places. Mm-hmm. And thank you for sharing that. And this is one that I've been very, very interested to talk to you about. How did you got into the TEDx talking? I know that you were doing that. You were rapping some heat on stage. Dude, tell me about that, man. That looked pretty cool. It looked pretty fun, and you know, and you talk some very deep stuff in there, and I was like, dude, that I fuck with that, you know, in a good way,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, TEDx was special, man. I've got a couple buddies. His name's Louis Pena, Louis Gucci. Lou, he's one of my business partners. He worked for me doing door-to-door back in the day, and he came to me and said he had a vision. He wanted to go open a gym, and so
Transform, right?
Transform,
Yeah.
So I was one of the first money backers of Transform 7 years ago. I gave Lou his first little advance to go do that. And so a couple years back, he reached back out and said, hey, can you help on some of these financial stuff? And I said, sure. And so he's like my brother, man, my little bro. I would stand in front of a train for that guy. Yeah, that was, he got to go speak on TEDx. And a mutual friend named Tony Acosta, who runs the TEDx here, he put me in touch with him, and they had seen some of my stuff. I've spoken on a lot of stages. I've done, 20 years of doing this. Like, one of the things I do is get on stage and I speak to guys, sales guys, business people. And so they had heard and seen me, and they asked me to apply, and I did. And some people, you know, they put in thousands of times and they don't get selected. You have to like submit an actual speaking event that you've done before, and they vet you and they interview you. And I made it. Not only did I make it, but I got to be the closing speaker on the TEDx here, which is like a huge honor to be the closer of that event. And so, yeah, man, shout out to Tony, shout out to Lou, my homies. Appreciate all that they did and helped me get there. And it was an experience. It was awesome.
That's really good. Yeah, I know Lou a little bit just because I used to train over there at Transform a while ago. Got to meet him there. Cool guy. He has cool sneakers too, so he has the whole vibe.
I'm gonna claim this one. I was the first one to ever get that guy a pair of Jordans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we helped. I used to tease him. He wasn't wearing Jordans, and I was like, dude, let me buy you a pair of Jordans. So I bought him his first pair of J's. I think were they the crimson tint ones? Okay. I think so. I can't remember, but I went and bought him a pair of ones. I took him to Doused, which my homie Jay over there owns Doused. We've been friends for a long time. And for his birthday's today. Actually,
what, really?
Happy birthday, Lou. Shout out, brother. Today's his birthday. And I bought him a pair of sneakers a couple years back, and now he caught the bug and he's addicted.
It's an addicting fun thing that you got going on, dude. I try to not get too caught up in it. I'm in the game, but sometimes it's hard. I just got this Simpsons foam pots. I can't remember what they're called, dude. But now I'm like seeking comfort. I literally like, dude, these are so comfortable. Like we're looking, but I'm like, dude, I just need comfort right now.
Yeah, they're dope.
So, dude, and one of my last questions here. I got two more, but this one is, you know, I like to ask this to a lot of my guests that come in, and you know, successful guys. You're sharp. You have your businesses, investing, like all that stuff that you got going on. I know there's not such a thing as balance, but how does Brandon? How do you manage that business and family, and then try to keep all that together, you know, because I can only speak from my own personal experience. I'm a single guy. I'm all in business, you know, right now. But I understand, as, you know, I bring that woman that I'm seeking and I start building a family, I got to have, like, you know, some sort of balance, or like, you know, I can't be just business all the time. How does Brandon do all of that?
So this is the first like lesson I teach on my courses, but it's called you on your road to success. You are going to be crazy unbalanced. Like, you can't be balanced. Like, if you are seeking success, and you know, the business people always talk about up and to the right on any graph. You want to go up and to the right. That's where your quarterly numbers need to go. Your stock price needs to go. Everything needs to go up and to the right. And so, if success is up and to the right, and you are chasing that, you have no choice but to be crazy unbalanced. It will be an unbalanced life. So accept that, or don't be successful. Like, that's just, you want success, you're going to be unbalanced. So what I teach is, in this unbalanced lifestyle, okay, there's two secrets. The first one is that you can live in this world of chaos, but you have to be balancing intrapersonally every day. So every day that I get up and I do my SEMS, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social, I hit those things in my morning. I am centering myself. I am balancing intrapersonally myself. I am aligning myself, who I'm supposed to be, who I want to be, with the creator and the universe, and who I'm going to continue to be. It's called conscience congruency. That's Wes's term. I call it becoming the best version of yourself. And you need to be centering that self, that person, every day. While the world is crazy and spinning and everything's going out of control, like, you need to find center. On the beginning, the cover of my podcast, I have my hands like this. And what this stands for is yes, it's praying to the creator, but it's also bringing in that intrapersonal balance inside your life. While the whole world is acting crazy and falling apart, I am balanced and centered and happy and the best version of myself every day. So that's the first one. The second one is, if you're going to get married and have a family, you better find a ride or die down ass bitch to roll with you. And my wife is the most amazing queen of all time. Like, we have decided that we are going to divide and conquer. And she's going to be the CEO of our household, and I'll be the CEO of our businesses. And I'm going to fund her business. I am the angel investor, and I will, any dollar she needs, anything she's got to get done, I will fund it, but she runs it and I support her. And when I get home, I'm her employee in the house. And as long as I treat her as she's the CEO and I'm here as an employee and I'm on the board, I'm the funder, but when I get there, I'm the worker too, and that's my place. Our house, our family has ran super smooth because she is an amazing. If she ever decided to go run a business, she'd be one of the largest CEOs of a multi-million-dollar corporation in a heartbeat. She is an amazing person. And if I didn't have a partner like that, I don't think I'd have the success I have, for sure.
Wow. So you play, she plays a big factor in your success.
If I wasn't married to her, I would be single, because I just don't know if there's another woman out there that could allow me to go be who I am,
Wow.
who I need to be. I'm sure someone's out there, And someone's out there for you. But she's my soulmate. She's my person.
Yeah.
She's my other half. She gets me. And we get each other. I mean, we're up at 2 a.m. laughing and in love and best friends and confidants and ride or dies. And we're all the way from being like, you know, our best friends, our business partners, my mistress, the mother of my children, my soulmate. She's my everything. And because she's that person to me, she lets me go be me and do me. We're building a new business right now, and I was out at the office till 2:30 a.m. So the massive amounts of trust that she has to have in me, knowing that I'm not at the club, I'm not playing video games, I'm not fucking around, I'm not doing drugs, I'm not drinking, I don't do any of that. She trusts me and knows me because of the results that I fund her business with, so she knows the money's coming in. But when I get home at 2:30 in the morning, she's not mad. I get in bed and we just snuggle and we just make it happen. Like, I don't know very many wives that would do that with 4 kids. And so she is a very amazing person to allow me to go do this. And I don't know very many wives. A lot of guys that I know that could be great, their spouses hold them back. And they'll never see the level of success because of their spouse.
That's something that I've learned a lot this year. With the sneaker game, I've been very blessed to get to see a lot of behind the scenes because I'm working with a lot of these CEOs, entrepreneurs, high level people, and I get to see that behind the scenes that not a lot of people get to see. And I've noticed there's a difference between the ones that have that supportive spouse and the ones that don't. You can actually see that it's like a wall. There's like a tension going on. So what you said was very powerful there.
And we work on it. Like we had counseling this morning. Like,
oh, really?
Oh, 100%. If you're married and you're not going to counseling, you are a fool. Like, you want to be around mentors that level you up in business? Well, if your marriage is that important, why the hell would you not go level up in your marriage? Like, a great marriage is like a business, and it's constructed brick by brick, day by day, action by action. And if you don't have a professional that's like guiding you and helping you and rebounding and you need a mentor in marriage. Like, so go get the most expensive, amazing counselor and like have that person help you. Like,
yeah.
That's, people think they can do it on their own. That's the people that fail. So get a mentor in marriage, go to counseling. I don't know what it is about this culture, but it's crazy that people don't do it more often in Utah and they feel they can handle it. But that's the spouse side of it. Invest in it like your business, treat it like a business. Get great people, get a board, have people that you trust that can help. And then also, again, this concept though about being intra-balanced amongst a crazy unbalanced world is life. And if you can't handle that, then go get a 9-to-5 and be happy with a paycheck. Because if you can't do that, then you're not made to be an entrepreneur. And most people can't hack it. They just can't. It's hard. It's hard. Like, you lay out a lot of money. You lay out millions. You go all in on these things. And when they fail, you got a lot of people that are banking on you. And if you can't stand up and be a man and go get it back or go re-earn it and recreate it and go fly the flag and win, go get a 9-to-5 because this thing isn't for you. If you're not ready to stay under your desk, sleeping under your desk and throwing up in your garbage can because you don't know how you're going to make payroll the next day, like, this is not for you. Like, it is, majority of the time, it is stressful, unbalanced, crazy, unreal. And every time you level up, the universe will test you to make sure you're ready to level up, and it will level you before you will level up.
Yeah.
So be prepared for the leveling experience,
Yeah.
and then level up. And if you don't like that process, go get a 9-to-5. Go flip burgers at McDonald's.
Bro, that's where I'm at right now. Like, we're literally leveling up, and there's new challenges coming, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm literally working 7 days a week right now. The team is working 6 days a week. I'm working seven, and just so we can keep up, keep the machine running. And then as all these challenges are coming, as we're growing, okay, I'm aware of them. I'm attacking them, but I don't let them hold me or paralyze me, because I know that's just part of the growth. And it took me years to figure this out. I will let it get to me, but thank you for that. That was actually for me. So thank you for that. And then last question that I have for you,
Let
and
me share this. Hold on.
yeah,
I need to say this to
yeah,
you.
please.
So I just went through a recent event where when you're talking about leveling up, and that's amazing, and it's beautiful to see. But I'm talking about the moment when the machine breaks, when the whole machine breaks. Your crew walks out on you. The inventory goes up and it catches fire. Like the shipment drops off and they kick you out of your office. You lose the office. Like when you lose everything, you have that moment. I've had that moment 3 times in my life where I ran a mortgage company, and in 2007, we lost everything. My house got foreclosed on. I lost my business. I lived in my buddy's basement with my 2 kids, and one was an infant. I snuck back in the house, stole my refrigerator and every light bulb, sold it on KSL just to go pay groceries and buy formula for my kid.
Wow.
Like, that's a leveling experience. But as soon as I was leveled, and we had $1 million home, like I was making crazy money, 17 grand a month. Like I was like in that phase. But when I got leveled, and it wasn't on me, and I blamed the economy, and it didn't matter. I was leveled. In that moment, how do you level up? And if you've built yourself to be the individual, the person that does the SEMS every day,
Yeah.
that builds the balance inside of the crazy
Yeah.
unbalanced lifestyle, that lives the 100%, 80% of the time, you build that person, it doesn't matter how many times you get leveled. Because I had a torn bicep tendon. I had to go get radiation.
Yeah.
Had to have 3 surgeries in a week. And then one of my partners ended up leaving a business, and it took away the transaction, and it blew up in my face. And I was holding. Not only did we not make money, I was now holding $1 million in debt while I was going through radiation. Like, talk about leveling. And
Wow.
because I'm that motherfucker, I can now level up because I know how to rebuild it. I can get it back again. Not only did I go get it back, but I got it back times 8 just because I can. And I did, and I proved to myself I could, right? So that's the moment. You're in the build phase, and that's the leveling up, and that's so exciting. But when you want to quit, that's when you see what you're made of. And that's the moment where you're like, wow, I decide to do this now, or I'd never do it. And that's the moment that's going to define you in your life more than once if you're an entrepreneur.
Wow. Dude, that's a lot of wisdom right there, man. I mean, that's why you've been in the game for 20 plus years.
A lot of pain.
Well, but it sounds like that pain, you've used it to shape you and make you this version that you are right now.
Pain is the pressure that you have to create magic. Pressure has to happen to create combustion, to have an explosion. Like, the magic will happen if there's pressure. And there's no pressure unless there's pain. You'll either be forced to move or you'll roll over and die.
Yeah.
And in that moment of pressure, you gotta stand up on your 2 feet and show the world what you're made of. And that's the magic.
So good. So lastly, my last questioning, I ask this everybody at the end of the podcast. It could be anything, but what's something right now in your life that you're grateful for? And it could be a bunch of things, but that you can think of. Dude, I'm grateful for whatever that is.
Man, right now I am so grateful for this pain. I'm so grateful for these setbacks and trials that I've had, because I was in a moment in my life where I was coasting. Like, life was good. I was semi-retired. Like, I didn't need to do much. I had got investments. I've been smart with my money. Like, things were fine. And this last one really shook me to my core. And it made me relook at myself and say, I could just roll over and disappear and no one would know and no one would care and my kids are fine. Like, I'm okay, but that's not who I am. I want to go take back an industry that I helped build. I want to go create another business that just shakes up the entire universe. Like I am now on this mission. And if it wasn't for that pain, that pressure, I would have just said like, I'm good. Life's fine. But I'm not wired that way. I'm wired to dominate. And if it wasn't for this pain, this pressure, these moments of hurt, and going through it is miserable. But now that I'm through it and I'm looking back and I'm seeing what it did for me, I couldn't be more grateful for those moments.
So good. So I have a last question.
Okay.
So from what I'm hearing in your story, those pain, that challenge, those things are always going to come up. Mm-hmm. But you overcame all of that and you achieved this level of success. And you just said you were semi-retired, you were good, you're chilling, but you're not wired that way. You were hungry for more. So that feeling of, dude, I'm hungry, I need more. It doesn't go away, no matter what, no matter that number that you see on the phone.
No, it's a black hole. If it's like Kobe Bryant being happy with one championship, it's just. And it truly doesn't come. I was wired this way, but I did not understand this about myself until later in life, when I was so in love with the process of who I've become out of living this way. And it's not something that you're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and this is what I do. No, it's going through it day after day. It's knocking the doors day after day after day for one summer, 2 summers, maybe 3, no, fucking 20. Like every year, every day I do it. And then it's realizing that I get high from dominating. I get like excited from crushing. The easy daily wins. It's the mundane. My life is actually pretty boring. I just don't miss. And after time, I dominate because I'm just doing it longer than anyone else. No one's been doing solar longer than me door to door. Nobody. The people that were doing it before me are doing something else. They stopped. So I'm so far ahead of anyone else in this game, you can't catch me. The only way you catch me is if I stop. I'm the leading scorer of all time, and I'm still playing. Like, that excites me. Like, that makes me like, that's why I can't stop talking in the gym to the kids that come ask me. That's why we're starting these new door-to-door companies, and we're shaking things up. Like, that's why. And I didn't know that about me until I started hitting that final stride where I'm like, maybe I should slow down and be retired. No. Like, this is just round. I'm going to be doing this into my 80s.
Let's go.
80. I feel like I'm 20 again, and no, I got a long time to go hustle. Like I'm not gonna stop my ground for a long time.
So good. Well, brother, just to finalize, can you tell us once again your social, where people can find your information, your website, and your coaching and all that?
Love it. Thank you. So, podcast on all platforms: Apple, Spotify. Doors to Success is my podcast. All my socials are bholmes.life. bholmes.life, Life. And if you go on my social, Instagram, I will message. I have people that work for me, but if you message me, I am the one that's responding always. And that's something that people love about me, is that it's always me. And so bholmes.life on TikTok, bholmes.life on Facebook, Instagram, anything I've got, and then Doors to Success. And then you can, my website is bholmes.com.
Okay. And then on your social, they can find the coaching, correct?
Like
on your
social, it's all there. Yep, go on there and DM me. Just DM me, and I got all the little funnels and stuff. You can find it there.
Cool. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for listening to this episode. This is, go re-listen to it, guys. Like, I encourage you, like, There was a lot of value packed in this hour for you guys, so I would encourage you to go back and listen and apply, because that's the important part of the whole thing. We can give you the information, the blueprint, but if you don't do anything with it, it's not gonna work. So anyways, guys, we'll see you guys next time.
I got a quote
Peace.
for you.
Oh, go ahead.
that.
At that.
Knowledge is good. Systems are great, but execution is fucking worshipped. Let's go. Execute.
Can't say anything else.